safely into it. Safe, but it'd be turbulent along the way. You ever been on an airplane and they warn you, that thing dings up, you hang on for dear life. They say, we're fixing to enter some turbulence. I don't mind the rocking and the shaking. I hate it when it drops, though, man. I ain't going to lie. You hit them little air pockets sometime, and I'm no scientist, but when it goes down, that's not a good feeling. I'm thinking we're supposed to stay up, you know. And you've been through some of those things. Brother Ronald and I, we still joke about it from years ago, taking some of those flights we were on, and there was people in the front of the plane crying. We had the stewardess up there in the 5-point racing harness. You know, she's sitting there staring at us. Everything's going to be all right. Well, you got a 5-point harness on. Me and Brother Ronald ain't got nothing. Like a woman in the back crying, weeping, you know. I'm like, we going to die. I don't never want to go over the Alps again. Wherever I was at, I don't know where I was. That guy landed that plane, though, and we went through some stuff, but God kept us safely until we got to the destination. And Paul's point is to say, guys, you're going to go through some stuff. And Paul obviously has been through a lot, and he's awaiting his execution. And he says, God, it doesn't matter what happens to me. You're going to be the one who has carried me all this way, all this time. And friends, be encouraged today that we've got a Father who stands faithful. But secondly and quickly, we've got a God who gives friends. One of the interesting things is if you look at Paul's letters is how many people the guy knew. How many people he run across. And we see here quickly, the picture is of old friends and new friends. Even in his passing, Paul would have new friends. He talks about Priscilla and Aquila. You remember them. They were the tent makers that he knew back in the book of Acts. He talks about Onesiphorus. Here's the guy that we read about in 2 Timothy chapter 1. At the beginning of this letter, he talks about how when nobody else would come and look for him, Onesiphorus left Ephesus at great risk to his life, and he came and he said, he ministered to me. You remember we talked about that. It says he refreshed me. Paul says, man, this is the guy. He remembers him even at the end. He says once more, hey, remember his household. Timothy, greet them if you see them. They're good folks. He talks about others. Erastus, who is a man who served with him in Corinth, the city there. Trophimus, the man who almost got him killed earlier on